Hello, Virgo signs. I'm Maritza of the Sybil Heart, and welcome to your April tarot reading. I've been doing this sort of exercise thing where I use a card from the Mexican bingo deck to represent the signs that I'm working with. And for Virgo, I chose card number 48, La Chalupa, which is a woman in a tiny rowboat carrying a bunch of flowers, either to sell them, or if she's done selling them, she's going to give them to her local church, or maybe, I don't know, give them away to someone who needs them. For some reason, that's the little story that's coming up into my head. But anyway, let's see if generosity comes up in the reading. But the chalupa, right, I chose the chalupa because Virgo is often represented by a maiden, and I was gonna pick La Dama, or the lady, but I thought the depiction in the chalupa was more appropriate. Okay, so I'm using the Tarot Nova by Dennis Fairchild and Julie Paschkis. Yeah, so I'm just gonna get into the reading. What messages do you have for Virgo? What messages do you have for Virgo? Okay, we have the Ten of Swords. We have the Four of Cups. And we have the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so we're off to a rough start, Virgo. What I'm seeing is that you are in a moment of, the term that's coming up is malcontent. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but so with the Four of Cups present, I'm seeing some deep feelings of depression might be part of it, but it's also it's not just depression. The depression is coming from something, and it's not just that the depression has made you lose interest in the things that you had been enthusiastic about before, but that might also be that might also be what caused this dip in mood, this deep dip in mood, in enthusiasm. And it's kind of a, what's the term? It's kind of a feedback loop where it started as like you're no longer interested in the things you were interested in. So that caused you to like profoundly not be interested in the things that you're interested in. And so now, I think with the Two of Pentacles, you're a bit stuck in this reality where you're wondering, well, now what do I do? Before I go on, I just want to say, like, this would be, as hard as it is, this would be a really good time to speak to someone. My hope and suggestion would be that you would be able to speak to a therapist, but a trusted friend could also be good. Just speak to somebody. Okay. All right. Let me pull some more cards. Okay, we have the Death card, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. Okay, I think I'm getting some more insight into what's going on in this low curve. Although I'm having trouble wording it, of course. That's my trouble every time. Okay, so with the Death card, this is a moment of transformation. So something within you, so you might feel like you are literally dying, but this is a point where you will see a profound transformation. And one thing I'm seeing with the Knight of Pentacles is that this is either stemming from the fact that you feel like you need to, at least in this reality, you feel like you need to hustle all the time, like, for whatever reason, you might feel like there's no chance for you to explore the things that you are very interested in, and seeing how far they'll take you. But then the flip side of that, what I'm seeing is with the Knight of Pentacles is that like you might already be doing the hustle thing and you're tired of it. You don't want the instability of the side gig or whatever. It's just not sustainable, and I'm getting that from, like, if I combine the Knight of Pentacles with the Ten of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles, that's where that thought is coming from. It's either you are looking to explore things you are actually interested in but can't, or you are already exploring things you're interested in and you're trying to create them into some kind of lucrative thing and it's not working, so you're getting sick of it. And I think what could be happening is I think what you're trying to do is to get in touch with the things that you enjoyed doing as a child. But you are now finding that reality doesn't really support it. Or maybe there's just an inundation of people doing the same exact thing, and unfortunately you've just jumped on the bandwagon a little too late. But either way you look at it, this is definitely a moment of transformation. You are right now, it feels like you're going through a pile of crap, but you can use this time to help yourself discover what actually brings you joy without wanting to make it about hustling or, starting a business or whatever it is out of something you enjoy. Like, just enjoy it for the sake of the joy that it brings you. And see what kind of freedom and burdenless adventure it brings you. Okay, and then as an outcome card, I have the High Priestess here. So, okay, the High Priestess, I personally associate the High Priestess with psychology and therapists. So this would definitely be a good time to seek that type of counseling. I think right now you're so deeply in this, I'm going to call it a depression spell, even though it might not be exactly that. It just might be like a general loss of interest in things. The High Priestess brings a level of uncertainty. There's might be this feeling of like you can't exactly pinpoint what's wrong, but you know that it's there. And that's about the only thing you know for sure. So to help you through this, to help you come to the realization of exactly what is going on, you do have to have some deep introspection happening, or self-reflection. Basically, if therapy is not an option for you, if speaking to someone is not an option for you, I would say literally have a conversation with yourself, and try not to judge yourself for the things you say. That's why having a therapist present would be helpful, because they'll help you safely navigate this moment that you're going through. And Virgos have a lot of like nervous energy. They're very self-critical, maybe even like harmfully self-critical. So I would definitely recommend having a therapist who will help you navigate that, because if we're not careful about the way we criticize ourselves, we can do a lot of self-damage in many ways. So, the other thing I want to mention with the High Priestess is that this might be a moment where you get in touch with your spirituality, especially with the Death card present. And it might actually be the beginning of the journey that you've been looking for. But it's this spiritual experience, the spiritual journey that you'll go on, is going to look very different from anything that is already established, or because it is such a personal experience that it's going to open basically what I'm seeing is that it's going to open yourself up to yourself. And you're going to learn things that will help you transform into the person that you were meant to be. In terms of astrology, we have the Death card, which is Scorpio. We have the Knight of Pentacles, an Earth card, an Earth sign card, which is Virgo, that's you, Capricorn, and Taurus. And of course we have the High Priestess, which is Pisces. So, Scorpio and Pisces. For some reason that's giving me very strong Neptune energy. So what I'm going to say is one way to unlock the door to a personal path of spirituality is to begin to pay attention to your dreams. Even if it's just writing them down and kind of reflecting on what you feel that they mean. I will advise to not make them about predicting things, but rather try to interpret your dreams. If you do interpret your dreams, try to interpret them as messages from your spirit, from your heart, because they are not about predicting. Although sometimes, very rarely, they can be. But right now, I would say don't open that door yet. If you ever feel like going through that path, but the path of predicting through dreams, but do begin the process of working with your dreams. The other thing I want to mention is Neptune energy is very strong right now because it's in the sign of, it is or will be going into the sign of Aries, which is a very, Neptune and Aries are kind of opposites, where Neptune is very inward and spiritual, and Aries is very action-oriented and outward. And what that means is it's time to pay attention to, like I've been saying, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to what you feel that they mean, because there are messages that your spirit, that your heart are trying to tell you, and these messages could help unlock aspects of yourself that you didn't even know were there. So that's what I will suggest. And then again, please, there are therapists out there, they're called Jungian analysts, who help people process their dreams. So again, I do advise seeking therapy if you can, or at the very least speak to someone that you trust about what's going on, or at the very least have a conversation with yourself, and that could look like a literal conversation, but it can also between yourself, but it can also look like journal writing. Journal writing helped me a lot, so I will recommend that as well. But I also talk to myself a lot too, so if you're comfortable with that, that can also help. Yeah, so that's all I've got, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.